Okay, we just 4 times the fork tried to stream in landscape mode. I apologize to anybody that was catching those. Doesn't matter, we're live anyway, and we're out on our spot. It's Saturday, the day before the Hiroshima's 78th anniversary, I think it is, which is we're going to be covering tomorrow night. We're out at the islands, the first survey, the southerly colony, and we're going to circle this island with you guys so you can see what I'm seeing. I'm going to come back and take pictures after. We're here to check on the fledglings, the chicklets, the little the nest that we see going on here. They should have been all hatched and almost ready to fly by now. We got a 4% survival rate of the fledglings. We got some cormorants right in front of us. I'm just wondering if that's the young cormorants. We'll see in a minute. Sure looks like the young cormorants. And we see the big cormorants on top of the hills. No, that's... I'm not sure if it's... That could be the young cormorants. That's exactly what that is, I think. Because their parents can dive, whereas a seagull can't dive. Yeah, that's a young cormorant. And we see some young seagulls on the shoreline. Now, I'm not sure if they fill it in the nest or they can actually fly. I don't think they can fly yet. But those young cormorants, they're falling in the water. They're going to be hanging very close to here. And I see two, I think it's 2 young seagulls. 3 young seagulls. And 4 young fledglings. These are fledglings. These are just learning to fly. And that's probably what we're looking at over right here. It'll take me a few minutes to get orientated. Now there's one right there behind the seagull that's pruning himself. There's a young fledgling. Look at that. So they got wings now. They actually got wings. They're flying, I guess. You can still see the dots on the baby. Okay. So now we're actually getting somewhere. So we're going to go around the island. The babies or fledglings are much bigger. And that's probably them up in the water in front of us. We're going to try not to disturb them. It's been a bit of a struggle to get out here for the last couple of weeks. We had a lot of problems. We fixed some of our problems enough that I can get the boat in the water temporarily. And we got one baby. I'm really curious to see if that's a man of war. It's a man of war jellyfish. They're debilitating stings from those guys. So we're curious also, there's 3 different colonies here. There's seagulls. There's the tickle-ass, which are like little seagulls in many ways. They're different species though. And then there's the cormorants. Then there's the cormorant. They're not indigenous to the province. They're not supposed to be here. But I've noticed they've been living in harmony for the last 3 years with the others. A couple of species that are still surviving. This island here, this is probably 1 million generations of birds. There's not enough baby birds to replenish. So as far as I can tell, that's all babies. They're really sluggish. Look at that. So that's babies. Not babies, but that's the new fledglings for this season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 26, 28. Around 30 in the water. And you would expect, we're looking at around a 4 to 10% survival rate of the fledglings this year. And the year is not over, but now that they're able to fly on their own, they can go to the fish plant and get their meals. It seems like the adults have been raising the fledglings by feeding at the fish plant instead of sea urchins and mussels and clams and capelin and stuff like that. We're not seeing them harvesting any kind of food from the ocean. So that's all fledglings, and they're flying. Well, like you said, they have to grow up really quick and get mobile really quick. They only have a short season. So in the last 2 weeks, they went from not being able to fly to flying. They're still hanging out in mass together, as you would expect to see. So it'll be interesting to see what we see on the other side of this island. And I'm just going to take you along for the ride today. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit, but it's not an issue. And so I'm going to come back after the stream. I'm going to take pictures of this whole island, and we'll probably cover that on Monday's show. And we're just slowly meandering along the island. Fukushima's radioactive fallout has broken the food chain, and we don't have many species left to study. These are field studies. This is trip 16, and this today should last about 7 hours. And so there should be roughly, there's 1,000 birds here. So you expect to see several hundred babies anyway, minimum. There's actually more than 1,000 on this island. Let's downplay it and say 1,000. If I see the little fledglings in on that point right there, let me see. It doesn't look like it's showing up. There's 2 more babies in there. So we're seeing some babies up ahead of us that are in the water. The best thing to do is when I come back the next time, I'll be taking pictures of everything, and then I can do the count later. So it looks like that baby seagull is eating a young cormorant. Let's nose our way in there. That's what we're looking at. That's exactly what I'm looking at, I think. I'll zoom in for you in a second. I just gotta watch my prop on my leg. Yeah, that's a baby seagull feeding on a baby cormorant by the looks of it. I won't know till I come back with the big camera. But that's what that looks like. That looks like a baby seagull feeding on meat on a young cormorant, which is not part of their normal diet, obviously, because cormorants don't belong here. They normally eat capelin at this time, or squid or something like that, or sea urchins, or some kind of marine species. I'm really excited to get a count on how many babies, because the babies won't travel very far from the island. I'll be able to spot them all. So there's another group of baby birds up ahead. We're just nose up there, and they're pretty skittish, so I'm not going to get too close. They're pretty skittish. High one's good. So I spent all day yesterday going to garages, and the general consensus from 4 garages was I had differential bearing is gone, and that they can be replaced. And now the earliest appointment I can get was the 17th, and well, that was the first 4, but the last one told me to come back on Tuesday. Monday's a holiday. And I also, my two U-joints on the back of my rear drive shaft, the large one to the rear end, both of those had to be replaced. And so I picked up both of those U-joints this morning, and I'll replace them tomorrow or Monday. Monday's a holiday around here. Oh, that's all babies. That's probably 35 or 40. So let's say that's going to be a total of 80 babies, which is still less than, which is, it might be 10-12%. Because it's hard to find all the gulls on the island in the daytime because a lot of them hang out at the fish plant, like thousands and thousands of them are hanging out at the fish plant in the daytime, right? And so you have to be here after the fish plant closes to get a true number on how many seagulls are on this island. The fish plant is working 7 days a week. But the truck is working really good except for the heavy vibration in the shaft when I go over crest of hills. Is where the bearing pulls out a little bit. And you have to come to a stop for that to go away. And so I should be okay to bring the boat down and get the boat in the water while I'm waiting to get the bearing replaced. It's a big job. It's a 4, 5, 6 hour job. And of course the two U-joints on the rear shaft, I'm going to replace them myself. I picked them up today, just before I came out on the ocean to make sure, because tomorrow's a holiday, Monday's a holiday. And I'm going to have to bring the little Zodiac out because it's so cheap on gas. Oh, that's a rock right there, Dana. That's a rock right there, Dana. Don't hit that filler. Especially when you're live. That's not going to go over too good. Pay attention. So I'll come back after and we'll do the pictures. I'm going to take you over to well, we're in the northern colony, rather. I'll take you over to the southern colony after this one. And then the wind's blowing in, quick breeze coming in, so it's going to get a little choppy, but it's summer day, so it's okay. I just don't want to get too close in case I touch a rock or something. That'll go over really bad. So that's 100%. The fledglings are now flying. They're moving ahead of me, unfortunately. That doesn't look like any fun. Let me get past that little rock. So most of the fledglings are flying. They're going to be hanging out around the water, exploring their environment. Exploring the environment. Hi, Richard. Oops. I almost fucked that up. Gotta pay attention, Dana boy. How the hell do I get out of here? I was about 1 second away from hitting that guy. There was a speedboat on the outside of me, so at the same time I had waves. So if I had to hit that rock, then I would have had waves picking me up and dropping me on it. Such is the day in the life of trying to do the more mythical thing. There's a rock in front of me here. I gotta play. Let's see if I can drift over this one, because there's a rock right behind me. There's a rock right there. The wind keeps blowing my motor in on top of the rocks, so it's going to take me a minute to get out of here so I don't do any damage. Okay, now I can back straight out of here, hopefully. Oh, never boring. Okay, I'm gonna make the turn and then we'll try to line up again. It's just because the wind, we're at the point to land and the wind is gonna try to blow you up on the rocks. That's why it's important to have that kicker ready to go, because if your main goes down, you don't got no time. You got to have that kicker working to get out of here, or someone's going to have to come and get you. Woo! Well, that was no fun. Let's get trying again. It'll be okay. It was flat calm when I took off this morning, but I had to go pick up the U-joints for the rear shaft. And by the time you got the boat in the water, let's try it again. Let's get past this rock here. We'll get back on our spot and we'll start counting again. Yeah, that was unnerving, eh? It kind of takes the good out of your soul when it has that happen to you. Yeah, yesterday was a real tough day, holy shit. But we got answers, so that's all that matters. We got answers on the issue. One guy said it was the pinion gear, but it's not the pinion gear. The other mechanics, and the one that came out with me said it's the rear differential front bearing, which was right under your elbow, basically, for the four-wheel, because I'm always in four-wheel drive, right? Beat the shit out of me again today. I'm assuming that's young cormorants, because adult cormorants would have been gone by now. And you hardly seen any babies on the land. Let's hit that rock. Let's wait till I drift past that. So yeah, that's young cormorants. That's young ones. And that's some adults and young ones. So I'll come back in a little bit and we'll shoot pictures of all of this. Tomorrow is going to be rain by the looks of it. I'm not sure if I'm coming out or not. fishermen up there cleaning these fish in a speedboat, and all the seagulls came off the island and went nuts because there's nothing else for them to eat. So out right here, we're going to see the tickle-ass colonies. They start right here, actually. We're going to move in because they're not skittish like the rest of the birds. As far as I know, they had no babies this year whatsoever. And they were still nesting too, a little under 2 weeks ago, the last time we were here. And so you never know, some of them might lay the eggs. And there's just one tickle-ass, two tickle-ass right there. We'll run into them up here though, just a little bit further. Fisherman probably thinks I'm Coast Guard, but looks up our fisheries and oceans. I get some fishermen that panics when they see me. They think I'm fisheries and oceans. They throw all their fish away and take off running. Sports fishing is open right now. So we just went past the tickle-ass colonies. We never seen any. Looks like they abandoned. There's some up here though. Looks like the majority of them abandoned their colony. The last spot is just around, not to your right, but just that little gutty up right there. I can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 tickle-ass. They had no babies last year. We got 2 puffins, 3 puffins. And we probably got 200, 250 cormorants. We got a young seagull up on the ledge here. We're going to go right in, see what that's all about. 2 babies, but they're not tickle-ass babies. No, they're puffins, or pigeons, rather. Woo! See one fly away that time. The other one's on that rock there. So no tickle-ass whatsoever. I'm sorry, well there's 8 or 10, but it should be about 250. So that colony was 100% failure. We'll come back in with the cameras after and get high quality pictures of everything. No tickle-ass from the colonies, they're all gone. Except for less than 1%. No babies. We're almost back to the point where we started. We're going to shoot over to the southerly colony, and hopefully any babies that survived are down on the shoreline, which is like these are. And because we've never seen any babies in the southern colony in the 15 trips that we made out here, this is trip 16. This is trip 16. I call it Hi, everybody. I see some babies up at the top. Again, I'll kind of come back and do all of this again in the next hour and a half or something. I just wanted to do a live show because Calm Down Charlie will be out there saying I'm afraid of the ocean and that I don't even go out there like he's been doing for 10 years. It's going to be hard to explain away how these live streams happened. Charlie, crazy Charlie. We got t-shirts, Calm Down Charlie t-shirts on my website, thenuclearproctologist.org. And so the cormorants, we've documented them now for 15 trips. This is trip 16. So as soon as we get to that point right there, as soon as we get to this point right in front of us, I'm going to turn around and shoot across to the southern colony. The outboard motor's running good, which is kind of weird. No screaming, beep, every... I'm really excited about that. And so we'll have, I got the universal joints for the back axles because the mechanic yesterday said they were shot. Might as well change both of them. The other one's a bit loose, but it was okay. But if we're going to take the axle off, the rear drive axle, change those. So I picked up 2 of them. And they say they could probably tighten up the differential bearing because it's pretty rare for them to be destroyed. They get loose sometimes, but it's rare for them to get destroyed. It's still like a 4 or 5 hour job. And Monday's a holiday. I'll head back on Tuesday, and they're going to get me in. And the other mechanics, I got another mechanic set up for the 17th. If I can't get in, they'll do me on the 17th, the worst case scenario. That was basically the quickest I can get in to see any mechanic. I hit every garage in town yesterday. And the truck worked perfect until I got to the top of the hill. I had a mechanic in with me. And that's where he said, that shake is the differential. And he said, and it won't go away till I stop the truck with it. And I said, no, that's right. And so I pulled over and stopped. And that went away again, like it normally does. He said, yeah, that's your differential. So he got underneath it after, and I put it in neutral, and he shook the shit out of me. He said, yeah, that's your puppy right there by the looks of it. And everything else was nice, except for the rear axle, the U-joints, right? But I'll change them myself tomorrow or Monday, because Monday's a holiday. I already got them picked up. And the truck's working good enough to bring the boat down anyways first. The mechanic said, yeah, I'll be okay, but I'll have to pull over when I have that shake to get it to stop, but I'll be okay. It won't hurt pulling the boat. Because, well, the axle was torn apart. That's what, you had so many issues going on at one time. It's just crazy. Okay, so we got a baby seagull down here. We'll come back after. He's feeding on a dead cormorant. And he starved to death. Like, he was really working that carcass. I'm going to come back after and get footage of that. Because he's not going to eat all that in this little short while. And that probably starved to death. So we're going to go shoot across right now to that colony. There's another colony right there. And we're hoping now that the babies are big enough to fly. We could finally see some, because we couldn't see. On 15 trips we were over there, I don't think we've seen a single baby. So let's shoot across here, make sure there's no traffic. Looks good. We'll be over there in a few minutes. Slow down a bit. see some birds are up on those flat rocks. But the colony starts over right here, so because the wind's coming in this way, we'll go out head on into the wind, and we'll get a steadier shot that way, right? Okay. And then once we do this, I'm going to end the stream. And I'll be out here for the next 5 hours, I guess, or something like that. Because the tide is falling. Once the tide gets to a certain point, I can't get the boat out of the water anyway. And then I have to wait for about an hour and a half after the tide starts coming back up before the trailer has enough water to put the boat on it, because it's a shitty launch site that I'm using. And so I'm here, whether I like it or not, for at least 5 more hours. And the only reason I say it that way is because the wind's picking up, so it could get kind of nasty. The wind wasn't supposed to come up very much, so it might drop out again in a little bit. But just because it's just after, it's about 2 hours, I guess, hour and a half after high tide or something. Okay, you see we're driving on the yellow? Let's start paying attention. Okay, so this is the colony boundary, the westerly boundary. We're headed exactly to that spot. And we're going to make the turn in a second. And I'm not seeing much here. And normally you're seeing all kinds of seagulls nesting up right here. And once I make the turn, it'll make more sense for everybody. And gas has gone crazy. I went and gassed up the boat and the truck a little bit this morning. It's $1.89, I think, a liter. Crazy bastards. Just gonna rob everybody of anything extra. So now we're not seeing any more nesting birds. Well, there's a couple up here, I guess. Instead of, there should be, or there was around 1,000 right here minimum. I haven't got much shelter here, do I? So let's get, once we get around this point, we'll see if there's any babies or not. But they normally are this whole area up here. That's where they were nesting. I can see probably 20 in my vision up here right now, way up there. But we should see the babies. We've seen some birds up here, so we're expecting to see babies as soon as we make that little point right here, a few hundred feet away. And that's, we should see a bunch of, hopefully a bunch of babies. Lots of sports fishermen are playing around today. Today is a long weekend here, so everybody's on the go. I got lucky, I actually had a parking spot this morning. And we got a couple of cormorants. We don't normally see cormorants on this side. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if they're young ones or not, but we're almost ready to make the turn. Okay, I'm not seeing any baby seagulls. A couple of young saddlebacks. They're like a year old. They're going on their second year or something. 2 cormorants. Once I make this little turn here, yeah, there's some babies up there. 1, 2, 3. We got at least 3 babies. 22 feet of water here. And those cormorants should have flew away by now, so that's probably babies. Can't tell though without zooming in on them. So we got 1, 2. So this will tell the story right here of how many babies survived this colony. The majority of them are going to be down here. Because they're just learning to fly and fend for themselves. So you probably can't see it on your end. Hopefully that'll help you. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 babies. 5 babies. 6 babies. That's pretty dismal, 6 babies. There's over 1,000 birds here. It's not showing me any rocks, but it's getting a little skinny right here. There's a shitload of feathers right there. So that's 7 babies, I think, so far. And normally, like you see, about 1,000 birds up here, right? 7 babies. That's it. Wow. Another one up there is 8. That's not even 1%. That's not even 1% of that colony that we would expect to survive. Yeah, it's a little windy on this side. So I can go on the other side of this peninsula. I got a friend of mine, if they get off work, they're going to give me a shout. I'll pick them up, they can drive the boat when I'm in the rock piles, and I'll get better pictures. Because you got to lean on a weird angle just to do what I'm doing. I got the new seat in the boat from, this is my second time using it. So it's a lot better than the other. The other seat was hard plastic and it was broken. It had a split in it, right? And so it wasn't very comfortable at all. I bought these seats last year. I got a really good deal. And I didn't have the mounts for them. So this year I picked up the mounts and finally got them installed. I'm so sorry I didn't do it last year. Because it's a big difference on your fatigue, right? Okay, I guess that's about it, I suppose. We're not literally no weight counts. I think it was 8 counts, I believe it was, for this colony of 1,000 seagulls of babies. All we can do is just document it. And the nuclear industry is insane. If you're not familiar with the subject, go into my playlist and you'll see playlist on different facets of Fukushima. And that'll these are absurd amount of documentation in each of those presentations. And we're trying to have a conversation, so we're providing more than enough information for policymakers and investors and anybody else. If you're in the dark and you watch one of my presentations from the playlist on certain subjects, now what have I got myself into? I got nowhere to go if this screws up. So let's get out of here. Should be okay. Deeper water is just right there. It's just when the wind is blowing on the rocks, I'm not very comfortable in the shallow water. So on the west coast, when I'm doing the research expeditions in the tide zones like this, I usually got the kicker running if I got prevailing winds and I need to get in close to the shoreline just in case. or I'll leave the motor in the water, and because it's electric start, you just run or push the button and you can get away from the rocks, right? I'm going to probably start doing that here, I guess, because that motor should be in the water right now, rather than take a chance. But the waves are not big enough to smash you on the rocks. They're big enough to make your day miserable. And I laugh because I've been there and had it happen to me, and it makes your day miserable, right? Okay, well, I guess we'll call it quits right here. 42 minutes in. I took everybody on boat colonies. I'm not sure what the survival rate of the colony over there is going to be, but I think we counted around 100 birds, which is 10%. What you would expect to find. And we haven't seen any birds feeding in the ocean whatsoever in 16 research expeditions and field studies. Alrighty then. If you make it this far in the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. As usual, I get pretty dismal views for these important streams. Alright, we'll see everybody. I might live stream. If I'm out tomorrow, I'll live stream for the same thing. We'll go to the colonies again. Because the low tide is late. I didn't. I'm going to catch the low tide in a few hours. So the tide is falling, right? I should have got up this morning by rights. But yesterday was such a hard day, so much stress that I couldn't do it this morning. Tomorrow's tide will be an hour later, so I might be gone tomorrow morning to catch the low tide early, and there'll be less wind, right? Less wind earlier in the day. It was almost flat calm when I came down with the boat, and the wind picked up. By the time I picked up the U-joints for the axle this morning, the wind had picked up. And that's okay, my boat can handle it. And the only thing is, can I handle it? We'll see everybody. We'll see everybody on the next one. Have a great day, folks.